weekdays at 5.
Texas Representative Joaquin Castro is getting a lot of criticism after posting to social media the names and employers of some of the president's largest donors in San Antonio. Here to talk about this is Travis County GOP Chairman Matt Mackowiak and Glenn Smith from Progress, Texas. Thank you both for being here.
Happy to be here.
Glenn, why did Representative Castro feel the need to release this list of some of the president's largest donors in San Antonio?
Well, let's start with the fact that the federal law requires the names of these donors to be made public, so he didn't really release anything that was secret. It's available to the public, and people ought to look up those donors from time to time. I think it's relevant because these people are the funders of Trump's messages of hate, division, bigotry, and violence. They're paying for him to deliver those messages. They may be embarrassed that more people know they donated now, but they're the ones that made the decision to donate, and their names were already public. A funny aside, by the way, seems to be somewhat of a craze in looking at the Federal Election Commission filings because the site's gone down several times today from the number of people visiting there.
So, Matt, if this is readily available to the public, is it really a big deal?
I think it is. Let's be absolutely clear about what his intentions were here. His intentions were to make it very easy for these individuals. These are leading business leaders in San Antonio, in the city that he comes from, that he lives in, that he makes his home, and that he represents. He wants to make it harder for those business leaders to go through their day-to-day existence, harder for them to support Trump in his re-election. And honestly, what this is going to lead to is going to lead to harassment for these individuals. Yes, it is true that somewhere on a website that the federal government keeps, there's a list of donors to every candidate for federal office. The number of people that go through those lists and look at them is very, very, very small. What he's done is he's tried to use Twitter to spread this list. And what it's going to do, as I said before, is lead to harassment of these individuals. And that, I think, is not what we want. People should not have to feel harassment for giving a campaign contribution to a candidate.
Glenn, again, Representative Castro is being criticized by some for releasing this list. Do you see any backlash on either him or his brother?
No. This whole thing is stupid, in a word. You know what it is? It is a distraction because Republicans don't want the talk to be about Donald Trump causing violence that ultimately killed 22 people in El Paso. That's why they're doing this. It's a public list. If these donors are embarrassed by it, get their money back. You know, it's not, there's no harassment intended. He took a list that's available to the public and required by law and pointed out that these are, I think we ought to do them in every city in Texas, in every state in the country. People ought to know who's paying for these messages of violence and hate from the president. And if they don't want to be known for paying for it, they should get their money back.
Matt, had this been done by a Democrat,
a
Republican against a Democrat, do you think there would be the same outrage, or would there be a double standard? What's your take?
Yeah, I think the outrage would be far worse. Honestly, I think it would be far, far worse. Think about the president criticizing inner-city Baltimore and the outrage that was associated with that. In this case, what he's done is he's taking business leaders in San Antonio, but let me back up. He took Hispanic donors off of the list. There are Hispanic donors, major donors in San Antonio they took off the list.
One of his donors is on there.
I was going to point that out. He criticized one of his own donors who gave, I think, $1,000 to Congressman Castro. Look,
seems fair.
The Julian Castro campaign is getting desperate. Joaquin is his campaign chairman. He's trying to ratchet up some type of head-to-head rivalry with Trump. The show Morning Joe was going after him this morning in an interview. You've seen major reporters from legacy media organizations go after him. Prominent Democrats, including the former DNC chair Donna Brazile, went after him. So, no, this is not partisan. What he has done here is he is trying to shame prominent business and community leaders in San Antonio for who they decided to give campaign contributions to. And that's, I think it's un-American. I think it's fundamentally un-American.
All right, we are out of time, gentlemen, but Matt, Glenn, thank you both for coming in and sharing your perspectives with us tonight.
Thanks.
Happy to be here.